We're here in Toronto, conclusion of the Cycling Canada's 2012 AGM, talking with Cycling Canada President John Tolkamp. John, first of all, just a bit of an overview from your perspective. 2012, big year, an Olympic year. Also a big year for less desirable reasons with all the doping scandals and so on. You know, from your perspective, a bit of an overview of the year for Cycling Canada and for the sport in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the focus for the national office has been on the Olympics this year. That was a singular focus in a lot of ways, and we were, I was really happy with the team that we had there, the planning and the organization. Our results didn't quite meet expectations, but then again, we never had expectations like that before. So, I think it shows where we're headed, the desire for the high performance side of things. And we've, in the last 3 years and going to this Olympics, we put in place now the new high performance program, and we're going to tweak that a bit. We're going to review where we went through in the last 4 years. We're not going to do an overhaul on it, a major overhaul, but we're going to tweak it and go into Rio and in a lot stronger position for sure. And we're hoping for some more medals in Rio. On the, outside of the Olympics, I guess in the last year, really. To me, the highlights have been, the Olympic medals, both on the para and on the women's team pursuit on the track, and Ryder's Euro win. Obviously, that sends a chill up everybody's spine in Canada, and it's been a phenomenal result for us. The other things that we're excited about is the Milton Velodrome. We are so close to announcing that, and we're looking forward to getting that built in. And that's going to be, like we've always said, is a game changer in Canada, and that is really going to change the sport of cycling in Canada. And we've been working on some strategic planning, and interestingly enough, one of the things we did is benchmark what other countries have done. And when we looked at Great Britain, the seminal moment for them was the building of the Commonwealth Velodrome. So we're looking at Milton with the same types of expectations. I think 10, 12, 16 years from now, it could be pretty impressive what we see has happened to cycling in Canada from that one facility itself. In other facilities, the BMX Supercross in Abbotsford, that's a great addition to the country's landscape, and we'll be announcing some coaching developments around that track as well here shortly. And this, you can't not talk about Lance Armstrong and the doping and the implications for Canada, Michael Barry, and we had to deal with that. We had to sit down as a board this weekend and take a look at that. We obviously had to deal with Michael's results, and we'll be removing him from one national championship result that we found within the period where he's been sanctioned. And quite frankly, we also talked about what do we do as a nation, and where do we go from here. We want to do some education. I think a lot of folks don't quite understand the role of Cycling Canada when doping comes out. We do want to educate folks on that. There's a CCES role, the Canadian Centre for Athletics and Sport. The UCI has a role, WADA has a role, and we have to understand how all that works. That being said, we want the UCI and we want WADA to also step up. There's improvements that need to be done. There's certain things, and from a Canadian cycling perspective, Cycling Canada perspective, we're committed to a truth and reconciliation process. We also want to see the independent review being done at the UCI, and we expect it to be truly independent, and we'll be sending some messaging forward to the UCI on that front. So we have to address it. It's a dark time, but for me personally, I think there's huge opportunity to change the culture. Shocking to see the revelations. Reading those affidavits was kind of sobering, very sobering, and to see the extent of it, and to me just solidifies that we have to move forward. Education is the basis of any improvements, but we've got to look at sanctions, we've got to look at how we handle this, investigation capabilities, and we'll have to address it for sure going forward.
Great, well, thank you. And I mean, any other thoughts, going into the next year? I mean, it's the post-Olympic year. It's always difficult. There's athletes retiring. You've got to start building from scratch. There's a bit of a letdown. Anything specific that you want to sort of point to for 2013?
Yeah, obviously we have to take a look at where our coaches are going to go, where our coaches are sitting, and where their plans are, along with the athletes. So we have to reassess. To me, and we had a real good conversation with Jacques at the board meeting about what's next here. And really, it's the focus from a high performance perspective is going to be on talent identification. And we've actually got some really great signals coming to the podium that they want to work with us and a few other sports, 2 other sports in particular, in developing some talent ID programs. So we're going to want to leverage that. And obviously that's not necessarily geared towards Rio, that's 2020. But we want to if we can find some athletes that could, bring home some medals and putting forward a more stronger team for 2016, obviously we'd like to look at that as well. So it really is on, starting to put some new athletes into the program. We're not in that preparation phase right now. A bit of a reset. The staff, the athletes, they all need to take a breather here and rest, and everybody's got to come to grips with what their plans are going forward here. But I think we'll start to see that roll out, in the next 3 to 4 months for sure.
Okay, well, thanks very much, and we'll follow up maybe a little earlier into the 2013 year, see how things are going then.
Thanks, Rob.